Okay, so we have a KitchenAid dishwasher that is leaking, and I pulled it out a little bit already. And when I look for dishwasher leaks, usually I take the front panel off. I look any. So yeah, I usually take the front panel off. These are the two screws here on each leg. And I usually look for watermarks on the floor. Well, right here we have a puddle here. So in this case, I saw the water was coming out of this valve. You see the drip right here. So the common spot on the valves to leak is through this connection here. So I already brought the valve. I'm going to replace it. But a lot of times these hoses leak right here in this connection or this connection. There's a rubber gasket there. So that's very common to leak through those gaskets. Over time they get loosened up and you just gotta tighten them up. That's it. Simple as that. On this model, Whirlpool KitchenAid uses this diverter motor. Very common one to leak. It's hard to see here, but it's the white plastic back there with the blue cable. There's two cables actually going in. There it goes. Here's the motor. So the motor. That means the seal broke. The rubber seal is not good, and the water leaks into the motor, and then the motor sometimes it just spins in circles, cannot find its position, and now when I take that motor off, there's only actually a couple screws holding it. Yeah, and you have to pull the dishwasher out to do that. But yeah, when you take that motor off, sometimes you see a lot of water damage. Sometimes these motors even come as a kit with the new connectors to because they get so rusted, and these connectors have to be replaced as well. I haven't had to do that too many times, but you always have to replace the seal. And I think I'll do another video how to replace the diverter motor and the seal. So for this Whirlpool KitchenAid model, that's the most common leaks. Another one is through the float switch right here. This guy, I've seen a lot of times leak through the float switch. So basically there's a gasket there that holds this assembly. So for that you will need to pull this guy out, and I can tighten the nut and the gasket. Or sometimes it's just a bunch of crud under this cap here, and you can clear the crud, and that fixes the issue too. And very rarely you need to replace this gasket. But sometimes if there's a lot of gunk in the corners there, sometimes water can seep. So that basically covers possible leaks for this model. Good luck with your repairs, guys. This is the model number. This one. So the water valve is only on one screw, and here's this guy comes off pretty easy. It's probably the easiest part to replace on the dishwasher. And you gotta pull the connector out. Although it's hard to work on the dishwasher is because everything is so tight underneath. Okay, there you go. We got the connector off, and then there's one hose on the pinch clamp. Yep, that clamp needs to come off, and that's it. The valve comes out. Okay, so I moved the clamp over a little. Oh, it's so hard to see, but I do prefer pulling the dishwasher all the way out, but I try sometimes to save time not to disconnect. If electrical is too short, I work on it like that. So yeah, I moved the pinch clamp and I'm gonna get in there with a screwdriver to try to wiggle that hose off. Okay, here we go. A little water came out. Here it is. Valve, and I got a new valve here. That's the part number. Okay, so there's the old valve. The new valve has a little different connector. They have this little screen to protect the valve from any gun getting in there. Look at this guy. That comes from the water line. So if for some reason a small piece of sediment gets through the screen, it can jam up the valve. And sometimes I've seen when the dishwasher just keeps filling up, when you're not even using it, it just keeps getting fuller and fuller, and that means your valve is stuck. So then you gotta shut that off underneath here until you get a new valve. Okay, the new valve is in, all hooked up. Let's turn the water on, see if there's any leaks. You can hear the water get to the valve. I had to pull this tube out to make it to get closer. There you go. So far so good, yeah. It was pouring pretty good earlier. So now I think we're done. I'm gonna push it back in, put it together, run the cycle. So this line is always under pressure, there's always water there. The other one is no pressure, so it's not as important. But I'd say I've seen quite a few bad water valves. So 2 words on the dishwashers. I know it's scary because it's installed and it's hard to fix it. Not everybody wants to tackle them. This one was pretty easy, didn't have to pull out all the way. So sometimes you just have to take the screws out on the sides here, or on the top. This usually clips 2 screws, and usually you can get them out at least halfway out pretty easily. I know it's scary first time you do it, but you can definitely do it. Just pull out a little bit, shut the water under the sink, maybe turn the breaker off, unplug it, and you can get them out a little further. But the first thing, always take the kick plate off. Look for leaks there, and if you need to work on them, you can pull them out. When I started working on them was my probably last appliance that I wanted to tackle, and back in the days was a lot harder. Copper lines, sturdy line, you have to disconnect it before pulling it out. Now all the dishwashers have a flex line, extra long cables, so it's a lot easier to work on them. So yeah, don't be timid, try it. I'm sure you can do it. Thanks for watching, guys.